Mr. President, I actually just want to pick up from right there where you just heard the breaking news. The Constitutional Court has finally ruled on this particular matter about your predecessor and whether or not he can make a turn to return to Parliament. Let's first speak about your reaction to the news.
Well, the Constitutional Court has ruled, and as I've often said, that's the highest court in the land, and we've given the judiciary the right to arbitrate disputes amongst us in terms of our constitution. So they have come out with a ruling, and I note that ruling, and that is what it is.
Noting the ruling is what you actually did in December. I, again, go back to conversations you had with journalists ahead of the formal launch of the Concourt party. I asked you, former presidents are saying A, B, C, D, E. You said you'd note it. And look at where it's led to the ANC and where you are today. Should you have not dealt with that matter, particularly around former President Jacob Zuma, differently? Are there any regrets about the we will not comment, suddenly to commenting, suddenly there is a question of suspension? Should this matter not have been handled differently by the ANC?
Because it was already clear in December when he publicly spoke that he violated the ANC constitution,
Yes.
and yet as leaders of the party, you waited until much later to start considering action against him.
Are you saying should we not have acted as the ANC?
No,
or as government?
ANC.
No, obviously as the ANC.
Oh, no. As the ANC, I mean, obviously we have to follow the prescripts of our constitution. And the prescripts of our constitution that anybody who is a member must be given due process. There must be due process, and they must go through the various processes of hearings and all that, and representation. And so that is what we followed. So we followed our constitution to the letter, and we could not have done it any other way.
If I was an ANC member, I'd actually say, as Clement just pointed out, the constitution is quite clear. It took a really, really long time for the NEC to decide to actually start relying on its constitution. You went from, we will not comment on this, we will not discuss this,
Yes.
to having random remarks being made in public engagements.
Yes.
And that's what the clumsiness in how this was being handled actually took place, is in different leaders. In your Secretary General defending the actions of the ANC over the years in the name of an individual. It was those mishaps before the ANC remembered it's got a constitution and it's quite clear about what the violations are. So it's all good and well for you today to speak about the constitution and what you've done, but you looked at the constitution many months down the road.
Gee, I wish you could be an ANC member and insist on
I'd rather not.
following the Constitution. My God, you're so good at it. No. No. In the end, I mean, we followed the Constitution, and we took the decisions that we took at the time. And some decisions, sometimes, you'll find that maybe you should have taken a different decision. You should have done things incorrectly. But it is what it is. We took the decision to put him through a disciplinary process. And that is what we have done. And what we should really be found guilty for is to follow our constitution. And that I will concede that, yes, we are guilty for having followed the terms of our constitution.
You're guilty for having started late.